If I asked you what the best Scooby Doo game was, would you even have an answer? Most people wouldn't. Hell, most don't even remember these games existed. But what if I told you some of them were among the best licensed games from the 2000s? At least, that's how I remember it, 20 years later.
Oh, hi there, and happy Halloween! This year, I've decided to dress up as a dumbass who talks about video games on the internet. Except Halloween's already passed, and this isn't a costume.
I've never been big on horror, so finding a game in my collection to really get me in the mood for the spooky season has proven quite difficult. The scariest games I have are this, or whatever the hell this is. And honestly, I'm more afraid this one might actually kill me. I have such fond memories of this game. Thinking about it now, there's still so much I remember. The environments were unique and actually kind of creepy. The fish factory and the secret lab littered with hospital beds especially stand out in my mind. The boss fights were also super memorable, such as the Black Knight and the Ghost Pirate Captain, and to this day, I still hear the sound of collecting Scooby snacks in my dreams. The game I remember was a masterpiece. However, the last time I played this game was nearly 2 decades ago. So, was this game actually as good as I remember, or am I just reminiscing through rose-tinted glasses as my young adulthood withers away? And if it is so good, why is it barely talked about nowadays?
And that's where I come in. Hi, I'm Indigo, but not that Indigo from a minute ago. That guy was a dumbass, and I'm just an idiot. Today, I'm gonna potentially ruin my childhood by replaying Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights to determine if it's the underrated gem I remember, or if it's actually a steaming pile of shit. Hey, who's that guy?
Who? Me? Oh, don't you worry about me. I'm just gonna sit here, maybe do a little bit of haunting. You know, the usual. But there's no need to be alarmed. I'm not some criminal in a monster suit. That would be crazy. Yeah, I'm just a ghost.
This video isn't a review, and it's certainly not a Let's Play. Instead, this is a highly edited and narrated retrospective as I replay one of my favorite childhood games from start to finish and attempt to answer a single question. Was this game any good? So, get some Scooby snacks, relax, and join me on yet another journey back to the 2000s.
Where the hell am I?
Man, this title screen is so nostalgic. Before diving into any specifics, I should probably briefly go over what this game even is. Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights is a 3D platformer released in 2002 that plays like an episode of the show with the crew heading out to investigate another haunting. Velma, Daphne, and Fred venture into the mansion to help Holly, and in a hungry stupor, Shaggy attempts to retrieve a box of Scooby snacks before falling into a trap. Left alone, Scooby is now free to wander the castle grounds. Just like that, we're able to start exploring and play the game. While there's no tutorial, there are clues around the game that give us hints or go over game mechanics. If we venture towards the front of the starting area, we even come across a playground that is filled with clues which teach us arguably the most important mechanics of a platformer: how to jump and how to collect shiny thing. Basically, Scooby snacks are coins, monster tokens are secret collectibles, and the platforming is... You know what, we'll get to that one later. I guess this area technically acts as the tutorial, but the interesting thing is that it's completely skippable and you can head straight to the first area of the game without ever coming here. As I explored the starting areas, I was immediately hit with a revelation. I do know I beat this game when I was younger, but I have no recollection of the sequence of events. All of my memories of it are scattered, and it didn't take me long to realize why. This game is somewhat of a Metroidvania. We start off with a pretty limited selection of movement and tools, but as we explore the map, we find items that grant us new abilities and open additional pathways. I feel like I ran around for hours as a kid trying to find the next place to go because my undeveloped prefrontal cortex couldn't even understand to put the circle in the circle hole yet. However, as an adult, this was a pleasant surprise to rediscover. I like when my 3D platformers add elements of exploration and environmental puzzle solving, and now that my brain is fully developed, it should be much easier to not get lost. There's absolutely no way that statement bites me in the ass later. We run into Holly inside the manor and she gives us a map, which is pretty much all we're able to do here for now. Back outside, we acquire a shovel that lets us dig up a key and head to the pier. At the pier, we come across our first enemy.
Right?
No, not those. I mean our first real enemy. Let's take a second to talk about enemies in this game, because it is genuinely one of the best features. This game has a massive variety of enemies, largely consisting of monsters that appeared in the show. The best part? Nearly every single enemy is unique. Some move on a set path, others will chase you down or throw attacks at you. Some take one hit to kill, others take multiple. Some can be Goomba stomped, but most require special abilities to dispatch. At the beginning of the game, we don't have any abilities to deal with monsters, which actually makes the early game quite interesting. We can't just brute force our way through these levels and destroy every enemy we see. For now, we have to maneuver around them, whether that be by running past them, kiting them away from areas, or eventually sneaking by. The progression of difficulty in this game is honestly implemented so well, and something we'll continue to see even after acquiring abilities that lets us deal with enemies. Anyway, pier. Upon entering the next section of the pier, Shaggy gets dropped off by a pelican, which, weirdly enough, becomes a recurring theme throughout the game. Not the pelican, but rather running into Shaggy while he's caught up in strange scenarios is something that happens multiple times, adding small puzzle elements that we have to solve to progress. In this case, we throw Shaggy onto a rope that we weren't able to reach so that we can swing onto a box and open the next area. We make our way through a few platforming sections before coming across our first major upgrade, the double jump. This allows us to reach the floating key back in the hub area to unlock the gate into the hedge maze. It's not much of a maze, in fact it's a pretty linear platforming section where we simply dodge obstacles and avoid monsters. It's here where we also acquire our disguise, which allows us to sneak past monsters. After another run-in with Shaggy, we get carried through everyone's favorite platforming gimmick, an auto-scroller. Are we having fun yet? We continue on, eventually—
Boom!
Hey, could you just, not interject into my video like that? You're kind of ruining the flow.
Ha! Did I get you?
No.
Yeah, us ghosts don't really do that whole boo thing. It's just a stereotype that the living came up with. We like to do it ironically to make fun of them. It's like an inside joke, but without the insides. Get it? Because I'm a ghost? I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Anyways, I'll let you keep talking about whatever nonsense it is you're yapping about.
Right. Thanks. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah.
we continue on, eventually arriving at a spooky hill that we have to scale to acquire our next power-up. The football helmet lets us charge through anything in our path. This is our first ability that lets us deal with monsters, but it also allows us to open up new areas by charging into them to activate buttons or destroy walls. Just like the web we destroy to open the shortcut back to the hub, there are some more webs inside of the manor that we can now destroy to venture further in. Despite being a 3D platformer, a lot of the maps in this game are very cramped, which results in gameplay that more so resembles a 2.5D platformer. To put it into perspective, even the most open maps are more akin to something like Super Mario 3D Land than Super Mario 64. However, they're still packed with secrets and branching paths that make exploration fun, even though the maps are on the smaller side. The fact that each map is linked to the others to create one giant interconnected world really helps sell the illusion of the game being much more massive than it actually is. I know I've mentioned it before, but man, the Metroidvania-style map works incredibly well for this game. Maybe a little too well. As I progress through the manor, I hit a dead end, and the only obvious path requires an ability I don't have yet. With no clear way to progress, I hit my first roadblock and am forced to backtrack. What did I miss? I've literally checked everywhere. I ran around for over an hour trying to find any alternate paths I could take. While I could have just used a guide, I wanted to recreate the experience of playing this game as a kid. And back in the ancient times of the early to mid 2000s, I didn't have any internet access. So, I banged my head against the wall, revisiting almost every area of the game that I've already been to. If you're at all familiar with this game, you're probably yelling at your screen right now, calling me a fucking idiot. In my defense, I did say I was one at the beginning of the video. Honestly, I'm still not convinced this isn't the way to go.
Right?
Holy shit.
Right?
After taking an embarrassingly long time to find out where we're supposed to go, I continue onward. It was pretty smooth sailing from here, making our way through hallways, scaling balconies, and eventually climbing up to the rooftops. I didn't know why I was going where I was going, but I knew there was a destination I had to be, and I had to find a way there. Absolutely nothing was going to stop me from... Well, I guess I need the umbrella. Don't worry, you can put your pitchforks down. After only a few minutes of backtracking again, I remembered that just like the Shaggy sections before, we're able to interact with him to help us solve the puzzle. So, unlike before, I realized backtracking wasn't the solution and promptly returned. In this case, we can use Shaggy to toss us up to the higher ledges, and we can make our way around the rooftop. Once we scale the building and use Shaggy's head as a platform to collect some Scooby snacks, we head into the next zone, where something big is awaiting us.
Boom.
Ah, the infamous Scooby Doo. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Mastermind.
Boom.
I'm the reason you're here.
You are?
I'm the one who made Professor Graham disappear.
You did?
I'm also the one who's brought back all of your old foes.
But why?
That is a mystery you will never solve. And one more thing. I'm the one who's kidnapped all your friends.
Velma!
Scooby Doo!
See if you can get past this fiendish fright. You remember the Black Knight?
Boom. Velma! He disappeared!
We'll worry about that later, Scooby. Watch out! It's the Black Knight!
Oh no!
Our first boss fight of the game is a classic returning villain from the series, the Black Knight. And let me just take this moment to say, this boss fight is just as cool as I remember. The first thing that immediately stuck out to me is the boss has his own original song accompanying the fight. I actually don't remember this aspect of the bosses, but it's such an incredible touch of detail. The environment is also really atmospheric, although there's no surprise there as this entire game absolutely nails the environment design. The fight itself is pretty good. It seems easy at first, but escalates in difficulty each time you damage the boss, and those later phases are no joke. I think the main thing that makes this fight difficult is the randomness. The boss's attacks are pretty predictable, but the issue is timing it with his movement, which as far as I could tell is completely random. He walks back and forth on a balcony, and we have to hit the buttons below as he passes them to electrocute him, with the end goal being to damage him once with each of the 4 buttons. Meanwhile, he throws axes at us that we have to avoid. Because his movement is random, the challenge comes from staying far away enough from the buttons where the axes aren't blocking us from hitting them, but still being prepared to hit the button once he finally walks by. This becomes pretty difficult by the final button, since he's throwing multiple axes that spawn electricity fields which persist after hitting the ground. But once the opportunity presents itself, we waste no time smashing that final button.
My glasses! Help me look for them, Scooby.
Okay.
Something fishy's going on here, Scooby. We solved the mystery of the Black Knight ages ago. Have you found any clues?
I don't know. There was a spooky groundskeeper.
A spooky groundskeeper?
Yeah, and ghosts and monsters.
Scooby-Doo, you know there's no such thing as monsters and ghosts. Remember the first time we met the Black Knight? We thought he was a monster, but really he was just a guy in a mask. Aha! I found him! Jinkies, the lenses got knocked out.
Here's some lenses, Velma.
Thanks, Scooby. I can't see a thing without these. Jinkies, Scooby, it's the Creeper!
The creeper? Where?
He's everywhere! Run, Scooby!
Velma, wait! I don't see any creeper.
With the Black Knight out of the way, the map opens up in new directions. Some interesting and some... Don't worry, we're still getting to that later. Defeating the Black Knight awarded us with the Dog Crocs, which simply lets us maneuver normally on tar surfaces. This upcoming stretch of the game is where the Metroidvania map design really swings into full gear. If we take a look at the map, here is how the upcoming section is going to go. We're going to return to the pier using our new gadget to access a new area. We're going to traverse through the zones, making our way all the way to the lighthouse, where we get the ground slam ability. Then we're going to return to the end of the hedge maze and open up a door with the ground slam that lets us into the cliff area. Traverse that until the end, fight another boss, get the umbrella, return to the lighthouse and use the umbrella to enter the shipyard, then traverse the shipyard until the end where there is another boss that awards us with an ability that allows us to continue progressing through the manor. Without wasting any more time, we begin our adventure, teleporting to the pier to enter the cannery. The cannery is one of the best areas in this entire game. The platforming is fun, jumping across conveyor belts and floating platforms. Falling isn't a death sentence, but it is still a punishment. The floors below are slippery, and the sea creatures will jump out of random piles of fish, chasing you down as you struggle to slide towards safety. As a kid, I was absolutely terrified of falling during these stages. As an adult, I'm still terrified. It doesn't take long after exiting the cannery before we...
Hey, you're kind of boring me. Do you have any snacks? Anything will do. I just need something to trigger a dopamine release. I can hardly pay attention to you.
We have pita chips.
Any dip?
No. What do you think this is?
Oh, well, I know I just said anything will do, but pita chips are a little dry for my taste. Salivary glands don't work like they used to, you know? So, got anything else?
As I was saying, it doesn't take long after exiting the cannery before we arrive at the lighthouse, which, as I stated earlier, is where we acquire the ground slam. Heading back to the hedge maze, this lets us open a gate to the cliffside. This section is pretty long, and there really isn't anything new going on, and because I have nothing to talk about before the next boss, we're just going to fast forward through this. Yeah, we go through a graveyard here. Almost there. And here we are. As we finish making our way through the graveyard area, we come across some friendly faces, but also a not-so-friendly face.
Keep it up, Scooby. I'm almost there. Got it. Jeepers, my skin was beginning to chafe.
You won't get away that easily.
You think that was easy?
This will teach you to cross paths with me. Here, I think this old friend of yours is dying to see you.
Right?
Scooby, I can't believe it. It's the green ghost.
Compared to the first boss, this fight is, well, not great. It's much of the same, dodge attacks and time button presses with the boss's movements. However, this fight adds an extra layer of RNG. Now it's not enough for the boss to be over the button, Daphne also has to open the coffin. This whole fight consists of just sitting around, praying Daphne and the ghost don't get out of sync while waiting next to a button. It truly is a terrible fight, but at least we get another unique boss song to listen to.
Good job, Scooby. But what's the green ghost doing here?
There's so many roasts around here.
Scooby Doo, the green ghost isn't really a ghost.
Well, what about the Reaper and the Black Knight?
Have you seen them as well?
Uh-huh.
Jeepers, those are all villains from our past. Scooby Doo, something strange is definitely going on here.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Daphne! Who? That is a ghost!
I saw it, Scooby.
Defeating this boss awards us with the umbrella, which lets us proceed into the shipyard area of the pier. At this point, we're about halfway through the game, so I think this is a good time to go over some of my opinions of the game so far. Some things I've already praised, the map, the environments. One thing I haven't mentioned, however, is the sound design. The sound design in this game really serves to immerse you into the world of Scooby Doo. A lot of the sounds are taken directly from the show, and some of them are ingrained in my brain to this day. One really interesting aspect of the sound design is the inclusion of the laugh track. While you're playing, the actions you perform will occasionally be accompanied by a laugh track for no apparent reason, which is as equally absurd as it is self-aware. It's something I've never seen in a video game before, but something about it feels uniquely Scooby Doo. While there's a lot I appreciate about this game, there is one major complaint that I have. It's finally time to talk about the platforming. The platforming in this game isn't terrible, but it's also not great. Scooby's hitbox feels smaller than his actual model, which makes for moments where you try to grab something but end up going right through it. Furthermore, the 2.5D level design combined with the 3D platforming controls makes for a lot of instances of running into invisible walls. To make matters worse, the camera moves in locked positions, so sometimes you can't even see where you're supposed to be going. The ultimate reason for bringing up this grievance at this exact point in the game: fuck these maps. The shipyard is probably the worst section in this game. So many of these platforming sections are just so damn frustrating. From bouncing across gaps that you can barely make, to jumping across moving platforms that reset you if your pinky toe so much as touches the water, to this. Who the fuck came up with this level design? By the way, we now have a gadget that lets us walk up slopes, which was definitely not cut from the video because I forgot about it. And even with this gadget, we're forced to repeatedly jump up these slopes. It feels unintentional, counterintuitive, and it just sucks. Don't get me wrong, this game has plenty of great moments, but when it has bad moments, they're really bad. After getting through that headache, we arrive at a massive pirate ship. Knowing what's ahead of me, I enter the door, bracing myself for what's to come.
Ready!
See if you can get me down, Scoob! Thanks, Scooby. I think the mastermind's behind this mystery. Have you seen the others?
Well, but I lost them.
Maybe if we look around, we can find some clues that will lead us right to them. And to the professor.
I've had a bellyful of your meddling. It's high past time I did away with you once and for all. I think you'll remember this old adversary of yours. He certainly remembers you.
This is my favorite boss in the game. This is also the boss that I remember getting stuck on as a kid. The fight starts off with us avoiding ghosts and... Actually, I'm gonna shut up for once and let this fight explain itself.
Scooby Doo, what you gonna do? Next swords rule the day. Don't try to run, don't try to hide. Don't think Redbeard is on your side. The only way to move along is to fight. Redbeard is looking round. Careful now, he'll take you down. Save the day, don't run away.
Thanks, Scoob. The mastermind really had us over a barrel that time.
Yeah, ran under one.
We caught the ghost of Redbeard on that freighter years ago. I wonder what he's doing here.
Jinkies! Watch out, guys! The creeper's chasing me!
Velma, wait a second. There's something on your glasses. The creeper times 2. Now this is a clue. And clues like this just don't fall into your lap by accident.
Raggy! Scoob! Food!
We should go find Daphne and Holly and put all our clues together.
And find that mastermind.
Try the secret lab.
A secret lab? Who told you about a secret lab, Scooby?
Ronnie did, before she disappeared with Daphne.
Come on, you two. You're coming with us.
As the ghost of Redbeard has been laid to rest, we discover that we have to find a secret lab and acquire a new ability. If we bring this chewing gum back to the manor, we can use it to freeze some enemies in place while we bounce on their heads to get to new heights. This is probably the most useless ability in the game. We only use it for like 3 puzzles, and outside of that, it takes too long to use and makes enemies invulnerable. Anyways, it lets us progress, and at this point, that's all that matters. We arrive at a prison cell where we save Shaggy yet again and discover the path to the secret lab is out of reach. So, we find an alternate route and venture into the manor's basement. Utilizing our entire toolset, we traverse through the basement until we come across a washroom with the final ability floating in the center. With the final stretch of the game just ahead, we grab the bubbles, which lets us trap enemies to use as platforms. We're now ready to enter the lab. But first, collectibles. I'm a bit of a completionist, and now that we have every ability in the game, I'm able to explore previously inaccessible areas. Despite a few neat side areas, there's not a whole lot to me running around maps we've already been to and picking up Scooby snacks, so instead I want to use this time to come clean. This whole time I was hiding something. You see, I never actually beat this game. Not alone, at least. I was 3 years old when this game came out, and while I can't recall exactly when I actually got around to playing it, I do know I was young enough where even straight lines still confused me. At that age, I would constantly get stuck in video games. Usually this resulted in me replaying the beginning over and over, but for a few games, my mother would help me get past sections I'd get stuck on. This being one of them. Thanks to my mom, Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights is one of the first games I remember beating. Even though I didn't play through it alone, the journey still sticks with me all these years later. Every room I enter is a memory of fear, a memory of struggle, a memory of triumph. It makes me wonder, does my mom share these memories? Does she even remember playing this game? Well, let's ask her. Hi.
What's up?
Do you remember when I was little helping me beat certain video games?
I remember the Scooby Doo one. Gosh, yeah, they were mostly PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Because I recently replayed it, so I was just curious, like, what parts of it you remember specifically.
Why were you stuck?
Oh, I'm not I beat it. I was just curious how much you remember helping me, because There's many parts of the game I got stuck on that I remember you ended up helping me with.
Yeah, we played that game a lot. There were some parts I think that you did almost all by yourself, but where I remember I had to come in and help a lot, was it like a ghost of a pirate or something?
Yes, that's one of the parts I remember too.
Okay, so that one I had to help you with a lot. And then at the end, the last part, was it, I just remember gray. Was it in like a graveyard or a gray mansion or something?
There's a lot of gray in the game. If you're talking about the very last part, you go into the mansion and there's a secret lab.
Yes, yeah, I had to help you with that. Yep, absolutely. So I think that was it. I think I had to help you mostly with the beginning and the end. I think you were pretty good at the middle part.
Because I remember the ghost pirate fight. That's the one part I remember when I was young. Like, I didn't even know how to do the fight. And then I remember you playing it for me, and you figured out that once you kill the ghosts, the boss throws the swords, and you have to, like, stand in front of the ropes to get it to cut the ropes.
Yeah.
And then once it cuts all the ropes, the chandelier falls on the boss.
Yeah, we had to play that for a long time because this was before walkthroughs existed.
Yeah.
So we really had to figure out the whole GD thing. We spent a lot of hours on that game. Though the good thing about that is it made you like Scooby Doo. So then you would watch the Scooby Doo movie with me.
The live action one?
Yeah.
I made her watch that one with me too for Halloween.
She hadn't seen it before?
No, I was like, oh, it's so bad, but it's so good. We have to watch it.
No, it's so good. It's not bad at all. It's just good. It's excellent.
It's so bad, but it's good bad.
It's a great movie. But yeah. You would watch that with me then over and over again because by playing the game, I got you to like Scooby Doo, and you laughed hysterically at the part where Scooby Doo and Shaggy were farting and burping. Yeah. So.
Of course,
yeah.
A classic.
So anyway, oh, that's fun. Yeah, I had a good time playing with you when you were little. You were so young then. You were like 3, 4. You were so young. I can't even believe that you remember some of it.
I replayed it without a guide, just because, like you said, I remember not using a guide. I mean, it was before we had internet. So I replayed it without a guide. There was one part where I got lost for like 2 hours, but the rest of it, I was able to figure it out.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite games ever. So, my legacy is having you play some really fun, cartoony video games, including Scooby Doo, and introducing you to really good music that you still listen to today. So, I win. Mom of the Year.
I'll take it. With the rest of the collectibles out of the way, it's time to finish the game for real. We return to the cellar and use the bubbles to enter the final zone, the secret lab. This area is short, a lot shorter than I remember. There's only 5 rooms, and each one consists of a very simple task. I'm also a little surprised this section of the game is so close to the end. In my memory, I remember fighting these terrifying robots in what felt like a little over halfway through the game, but now that my brain is developed enough to process object permanence, I see that there is less than 10% of the game left. In only a short 20 minutes, we jump over a floor is lava platforming section, save Shaggy yet again, and fight our way through a few rooms of monsters before running into the rest of the mystery gang.
Good job, Scooby! But why would anybody need this much acid anyway? The acid in those vats is used for etching. It was used to make those funky lenses that were in my glasses.
This must be part of the professor's top secret invention.
Jinkies! And now I know just what it is. The professor was making super real holograms.
Like what on earth is a hologram?
Holograms are images made out of solid light, Shaggy.
Like the creeper from my glasses.
Like, wow! So that's where all the monsters have been coming from.
Jeepers.
Really? Where's no roasts?
That's right, Scooby. No ghosts. Now listen up, gang. I've got a plan. But Scooby's gonna need to keep the mastermind distracted for it to work.
Me?
And that will buy us all the time we need to turn the tables on old Fright Face.
Yeah, and then he'll face the fright. Ready, Scoob? I'm not going anywhere.
Well, would you do it for a Scooby snack? How about a whole box of Scooby snacks?
Okay. Well, I'm ready.
The last order of business is to stop the mastermind once and for all. Wasting no time, we enter the final room.
Yes! Soon it will all be mine. My brilliant plan is working perfectly. All that remains is... What? Impossible. How did you, a worthless cur, make it this far?
I don't know.
Well, your luck ends here. As well as all 9 of your lives.
I think that's cats. I'm not a cat.
Shut up!
The final boss consists of 2 phases. In the first phase, the mastermind summons waves of enemies that we must fight off. It's a bit tricky as the quantity and variety of enemies means we can easily get overwhelmed, but after defeating them all, the electric fences in the back of the room shut off so we can press the 2 red buttons. This results in the mastermind falling into the arena, kicking off the second phase. We already know all the enemies were just optical illusions, but as far as we can tell, the mastermind's a real person in a mask, which makes this next part a bit questionable. With the mastermind in the arena, the next phase has us fighting off more enemies before stunning him. Once he's stunned, we have to wait for the electric fences to turn back on so we can push him in to electrocute him. This seems not only morally wrong, but I'm almost certain it's illegal. Once we successfully do that, that's it. The fight is over, and the only thing left to do is unmask the villain behind this entire scheme.
Look, gang, there he is.
Whoa!
Now it's time to get to the bottom of this mystery. Come on, gang, let's see who the mastermind really is.
Wait, Fred. Like I think I know who this guy really is. It's that spooky groundskeeper, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Blame the spooky groundskeeper. It's always the spooky groundskeeper. What do you people have against groundskeepers? Some detectives. Why don't you just say the butler did it? But no, it's always got to be the groundskeeper, doesn't it? Anytime some ghost scares somebody off a well-kept lawn, it's just got to be the groundskeeper. Like we couldn't just put up a sign that says, "Keep off the grass." Nah, I'll just get myself a big old rubber monster suit.
As I was saying, let's see who the mastermind really is.
It's Professor Alexander Graham!
Oh, me? Oh, my.
Uncle Alexander? I don't believe it.
I knew it all the time.
Something just doesn't add up. If you ask me, someone's playing a nasty trick. A trick of the light.
Wow! That was just another hologram. Holly, what are you doing there?
Zoinks! But Holly's right.
Wrong, Shaggy. That Holly was just another hologram. The real Holly has been the mastermind the entire time.
Now that we've gone through the entire game, I think it's time to finally answer the question. Is this game as good as I remember? Well, first, let's start off with the bad. The boss fights in this game are hit or miss, but generally most of them are really enjoyable. Even the green ghost fight, while somewhat frustrating, felt sufficiently challenging. However, that final boss was just plain underwhelming. In fact, the entire final section of the game felt like the developers were running short on time and just dialed it in. It's a bit of a shame as the rest of the game leading up to it felt really well crafted. Another point of contention is the platforming. Yes, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's worth noting again just how clunky the platforming feels in this game. The levels are designed so well, but the basic feel of the game is just a little too stiff. While some sections were genuinely challenging, others just felt frustrating, so it's no wonder I needed my mother to help me through this game when I was a child. Despite these complaints though, the game does so much right that even through frustrating times, it's hard not to enjoy it. The writing, the sound design, the atmosphere, the enemies, it all feels authentically Scooby Doo. Not to mention the world composition adds an element of exploration to a rather fairly linear platformer. So that brings me to my final verdict. Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights is a solid platformer, but it's an incredible Scooby Doo game. With the trend of remasters and remakes in the current gaming market, this is one game I would love to see get a remaster. And who knows, maybe one day it will happen. THQ Nordic has recently been remastering classic THQ titles with games like Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated and Epic Mickey Rebrushed. Scooby Doo is no small IP, and if the game has a large enough cult following, THQ Nordic may decide to visit it in the future. All we can do is hope, but even if it never happens, at least we will always have the original to look back on.
Now, it's time to find out who this ghost really is.
Look, man, I already told you I'm just a ghost. Ow, my epidermis.